Sakam čau, 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 un Elvis aiziet.
Hello and welcome to the Gamedev Meetup 101. I'm Elvis, one of the founders of Latvian Game Developers Association. And today we have two presentations. One will be from Laura Vilsone, current chairperson of the Latvian Game Developers Association, and she will tell us about the Gamedev festival, have a recap of the event. After that, Jānis Skuja will tell us about the slow culture meetup. And then we'll have a free microphone. We'll have discussions. If you have anything to announce, feel free to announce it after the presentations. So, Laura, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you.
And see me, perhaps?
I can see you, but people, like Jānis is speaking now, I don't know if anybody knows, but people like in YouTube won't see you actually, because I will share the presentation from my computer, but yeah, they will hear you.
Okay, cool. So I think we can start if you can open the presentation.
Yeah, it's open. I hope you see it.
Yeah, I see it. Okay, cool. So, yeah, as the whole pandemic situation started, our neighboring Baltic countries, they saw the situation and they thought about their international game development events. And as smart people do, they thought about all the restrictions and the uncertainties and anything that can go wrong. And they thought, well, maybe we shouldn't do that this year. We shouldn't have an on-site event. And Latvians, of course, were like, well, let's have one right now. This is the perfect moment. And this is how last month in September, Gamedev Festival was born. So next slide, if you could. So this was mostly on-site event. It was, in essence, a hybrid event, but most of it happened on-site. It happened at the end of September, and it turned out to be the biggest B2B game industry event in Baltics. The venue we chose was Baltic Beach Hotel and Spa. It was right by the sea, very nice location. The location turned out to be both blessing and a curse at the same time. I'm gonna elaborate on that more a bit later. Now, if you could have the next slide. So what the event eventually was, it was very ambitious. We had a 3-day conference with 3 tracks, general board games and XR. We had game pitching sessions. We had B2B matchmaking, we had game jam, we had board games workshop as part of the board games track. We had an exposition of games and technology and game art. And of course, where would we be without parties and after parties? So we had that as well. And most of the things were actually running in parallel. So the people could choose where they go, what they like, what they don't like. And so the next slide, if you could. So about 15 people worked on this event. The core team was actually made of 3 people, where another person joined us a bit later. But we had immense amount of help from board games, from Brain Games regarding the board games track. We had a special professional filming crew. We had Game Jam was organized by Goethe Institute and our Jānis, who will talk more about it a bit later. And we had, of course, the hotel staff setting it all up. So the next slide. So this is a moment from the conference. I think this is the last day in general track. It's a bit empty. So one of the takeaways is game developers do not like to wake up early in the morning. So if you could next. So we also had, as part of our conference, we also had panels. So the picture you see here is from legislation, game development, and game publishing, where the panel was led by a law firm, Lawyers SE from Sweden, that actually specialize in law and in legislation for games. And what we did here is sat down this law firm with IP specialists, with the publisher. We also have 2 people attending online. So you cannot see in this picture, but there were actually screens with those people also online. And also 2 indies attending. One is our Māris from Latvia, and another was online from Paraguay, also attending. And we had also panels in XR, future of XR, and we also had in board games. So the next slide.
You are designers, right?
Yeah, the game jam. Jānis will definitely tell you more about it, but it was great. I didn't have that much time to be in that room, but I absolutely loved the atmosphere. I think it was a great event. The game jam went really well. So the next one. So this is another moment as the game jam is closing and the final presentations are happening. As you can see, Jānis. Jānis is just a great game jam leader, and as I said, a great atmosphere. People were really happy. So yes, we can move on. So this is a moment from board games track, and it looks kind of empty. But the thing is that while this is happening, in the next room behind that wooden wall, we're having an XR track. And at the same time, we're also having the expo. And at the same time, people are sitting in another room and jamming. And there are also people who, as I said, the location was both blessing and a curse, because it was so good that it was too good. People were actually going to the Juoma Street, they were going to the beach, taking long walks, just hanging out in the bars and in the pubs, not really in the event. So the next slide. Yeah. So as I said, this is a moment from the pitching session. So this is a moment from VC investors. We had, as I said, people could pitch for VC investment. They could pitch also to publishers, and they could, and those teams who had younger games or just an idea could also pitch to mentors. And I must say, the takeaway from the publisher and the mentor pitch was, well, it was, I believe it had a really good outcome. It added quite a lot, and people were really happy, both from the pitcher side and from the publisher and the mentor side. So this is something we're definitely thinking about doing again. So if you could have the next slide. As part of the board games track, we also had board games workshop. People were just sitting down with people who actually are specialists in board game development, and learning how ideas work and how board games are created. So the next slide. So yeah, the expo was one of my main headaches. I really didn't have the time to organize it, and I was super worried. Are we going to have enough people? Will they be able to bring enough stuff to the event? How is it going to be? Is it going to be enough visually pleasing? And I was contacting them basically in the last minute. I was really worried because our budget wasn't that big. Also, we basically could cover the room, the tables, the chairs, the tablecloth, and that's about it. So I was really worried about that one. And then when I actually walked into this room and I saw how people had set up, I was really pleasantly surprised. And this is filmed during, I think during the lunch break. So it's empty right now, but there were moments where you could just pass by this room and it was full to bursting, like buzzing as a beehive. And people were just talking and trying out games and looking at art, and it was great. So if we could have the next. Yeah, so as I said, there were a bit of concerns, a few things to think about. And one of the things where you might have heard about this little thing called COVID, which was really for organizing events a bit of hell, I would say, because of course, any attendant who attends an event, they want to be certain. They need certainty to know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. Is it on site? Is it online? Everything has to be clear. But from the organizer's side, it was so many unanswered questions. Maybe you could put the next slide on. And also, Gamedev Festival isn't really an established brand. This is happening for the first time ever. So people, they didn't really know what to expect, what could we offer, how good or bad is it going to be? Is it going to be worth their time? But if you could have the next slide. Eventually, as we looked at the statistics and talked to people and how they felt about the event, it was a success. And it was actually even better than we expected. We have more than 220 registered participants. Next slide. So 191 registered on site, 170 actually attended on site. And I mean, we expected a bit bigger dropout because, you know, the pandemic, but so many people actually came and attended on site. That was absolutely great. And we had 50 plus online attendance. And the thing is that we also had a stream, so people could actually watch the stream instead of coming on site, which was a bit interesting because there were actually people who were in the hotel rooms in the morning. Instead of attending the session, they looked at the stream. That was interesting, but still, that added to the amount of people who actually saw some parts of the event. So the next slide. We had 25 countries represented. Of course, the Baltic states in large numbers. We had Sweden, of course, Finland, of course, Poland, but we also had Paraguay, we had India, we had Canada, we had China. So, as I said, a lot of good numbers, a lot of successful stories here. So the next one, 119 B2B meetings happened in those 3 days, including both on-site and online. The next slide. And we had 39 speakers coming on site, speaking in the panels, speaking in the workshop, speaking, of course, in their doing their talks during those 3 tracks, during those 3 days. And the next slide. Well, of course, with all of this, the main takeaway is we're doing it again. So in 2022, unless there is like a complete collapse of everything and lockdown, it's happening on site. It's happening either at the end of September or the start of the October. So the next slide. See you then. Until then, just follow our social media for the festival. And yeah, see you in the next autumn. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. So, I think nobody sees anything right now. So, oh no, not this one, but you already know everything. So, here, no. Wait, nope, not this one. Oh boy, I lost the Zoom chat. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. I will get the Zoom call back in a moment. In the meantime, I will give back the word to Elvis.
Yeah, so I'm checking the questions on YouTube. So there are no questions. So Laura, you started at 9 a.m., right?
Yeah, we started the conference at 9 in the morning.
So that means you had a really a lot of presentations, right? So that you were not able to start later.
We actually, one of the takeaways is that 1 hour long presentations is a bit too much. It's just people don't have that long of an attention span. So probably for the next year, we're looking more at 30-minute presentations instead of 1 hour.
So what? How do you see next year? What will improve? What will change?
So the first thing is a bit more decent marketing. So we're definitely dedicating more resources to the marketing, and we're starting it earlier. So the second thing is we have a lot more clarity now on a lot of things. So there are more, let's say, what kind of things we have to tell right away about the expo so people can prepare, how to properly prepare the materials for the conference. So it will just take away a lot of stress from those who are participating in more how to say involved capacity, who are coming as expo participants, who are coming as pitching for the pitching, who are going, who are coming to speak. And we're also, there was a bit of fumbles with registrations. There are some things we're going to improve there. Also about how you can get the tickets, and it's just a lot of little things that eventually amount to something big.
And shorter presentations.
Yeah, and shorter presentations.
Yeah. So I guess there are no other questions. Maybe somebody from the Zoom call. Any questions? Well, okay. Thank you, Laura, and wish you luck next year. And the next one is Jānis. Please tell us about the jam.
Yes.
What happened there?
Hi, yeah. So I was a bit lazy, so I will reuse the presentation that I used for end of the jam. And yeah, I will just share my screen again. So, yep. It's a bit slower for me just because you see that I also control all the live streaming stuff right now, so it's gonna be interesting for me to present at the same time. So if you are joining into Zoom call, I will let you in after my presentation, I guess. I will try to let you in while I'm doing this. And yeah, so the game jam, it happened during the festival. And basically Goethe Institute asked me to do a game jam, and then we saw, hey, the festival is also happening in the same dates, and that's why we kind of decided together with Latvian Technological Center to do this game jam under the Gamewave Festival. And yes, so while the Game Jam was the project of Goethe Institute, the whole festival was the project of Latvian Technological Center. I am really thankful that they did this festival. From my side, while I didn't attend anything because I was super busy with the Game Jam organization and moderation, I did hear a lot of good feedback, and I hope it does happen again. And well, I mean, it will happen again, as we know. So yeah, my daughter in the background is also having fun. So I mean, this will be a more free-form presentation. Yeah, so we had I forgot already how many, 26 participants and 3 online. No, 25 participants on site and 3 online, so 28 participants were on the Game Jam site participating. This was a very interesting experience for me, because most of the people that actually participated in the Game Jam, they were artists, not the programmers. So actually 2 teams were lacking programmers. And but we did have very good mentors, so they helped them out. And also I think yeah, 50% were like first time jammers here, so that's also really cool to see that. And yeah, there were like 3 moderators, Eriks from the Gamedev Association. I was from I was also all the 48 hours there. And yeah, and also Paulina from Goethe Institute was also there helping me. And like just seeing if everyone is okay. The mentors, but that I mentioned, we had two of them. We had Roskens from not Ros- yeah. But Clemens from Germany. He was like really helpful, and also Jāzeps. He's from Latvia, but he works in Germany. So that was really cool. And from what I heard from the teams, they helped them a lot because two of the teams like didn't have any programmers, as I said, and basically they mostly were on like helping them, and the results I think were pretty good. And yeah, this was the first time like in a game jam in Latvia. I mean, this is not a hackathon, might I remind you. This is a game jam, and in the game jams, usually mentors don't get utilized as often for some reason. But here, like, they were so busy, they didn't really have any time to go and see like other festival activities, really. Yeah, so that was also one of the feedback that I heard, that while game jamming, the participants couldn't really go and see the lectures. Some of them watched the lectures online, which was really nice to hear. But all in all, they were like really focused on the jam and in the room. So, and like speaking more about like the general feedback, of course everyone was super happy. I did this game jam like very similarly as I do like global game jam sites, and basically there were no prizes for this. There were no really any other reason than hey, this here is a game jam, we will give you mentors, you're here free to learn, have fun, and eat some pizza basically. And yeah, people were super excited, and they produced 6 games in the end, and I think it was a really good success. Other than like for the games themselves, like the project organizers wanted to see some more serious games, but they are happy anyway how it turned out. So that's great. I hope we will see more activities from Goethe Institute in that case, like in that region about serious games. And as for the jammers, yeah, the only I didn't have like much negative feedback. Like as I said, the only negative feedback basically was they didn't have had the time, the opportunities like to go and see. Like basically they had the opportunities, but they didn't have the time to go and see the lectures as much as they wanted, and that the room at night was a little bit colder, and they didn't like the carpet pattern in the hotel. Basically, those were the only like real negative feedbacks. Otherwise, they were super happy. They some of them, I think Siemens team also like went to pitch his own game, not the jam game, but his own game to the mentors. He had a lot of fun with that too. Some of the jammers went to workshop in the festival. So overall, I think there are positives and negatives to organizing a game jam during a game festival, basically, or a conference. The positives are that if you can somehow like allocate the time to go to participate in workshops, go pitch your game, then you can do that. Otherwise, in game jams, it's not a thing. Pitching for investors or mentors and stuff like that. In this one, there were out of game jam, there were these opportunities, so that was really cool. And also during the showcase, it was really nice to see like people from outside to come in and actually see the games, give feedback. There were publishers even, and I mean, I don't know if there were any deals about game jam games, but still they could get really good feedback on the showcase event that happened on the second day. I will show you some videos and photos later. So without further ado, this is the Discord. We created this game jam community in Discord. If you're interested, I will later just paste the link in all the chats. But you can, I guess, scan the code and join it. It's basically a server where all the jammers are. I hope it will get more popular for and we could use that to basically in Latvia build this game jam community and stuff like that. So that will be interesting how that turns out. I hope it's really does turn out. And maybe for the next year, there will be many more jammers. So yeah. So we had, as I said, 6 teams, and I will quickly just show their trailers that they made, so you get an idea what kind of games were made. I hope some of them maybe join this Zoom call, maybe tell about their games, but so far I don't know if that will be true. We will see. But their trailers will be shown, and some of the games are actually playable on itch.io. So the first one is Siimanis Team Neguli. This is third from the left is Siimanis. And there were 3 people on site and 1 was online. So yeah, just let's see their game. And also, yeah, I didn't mention this. If you didn't know, the theme is actually slow culture, and I actually will update the information in Zoom, here. Yeah, that game jam theme was slow culture, and we can maybe see how the teams interpreted it. So yeah, with no further ado, let's see the first trailer. So yeah, a game about poetry. You can, I guess, join the Discord and find the link to the game there. And it's playable. I really like this one because I think they really understood the theme in some ways, about the slow culture, in a way that poetry really affects how people feel around, and poetry isn't a thing that's a fast thing, right? It's something you enjoy slowly. So yeah, that this one I really do like. Let's see the next one. The next one was battle tanks. Here, I think all of them except one person was first-time jammers. Also, this was an international team. There were two 3D artists from Estonia, Estonian art school, and also there was Kārlis. Also, like this was his first time jam ever. Like, and from the feedback that I heard, like he did enjoy it. He is in Zoom. Like after the presentations, maybe he can like tell us how he felt or what he learned. I did hear like a lot of good feedback from him. And yeah, they tried to make a turn-based game about racing, but they basically ended up with like a 3D video, like not like a 3D showcase thing in Unity. They also ended up with a 2D multiplayer game in like at the last seconds. Basically, that is not included in the trailer they made, but in the last seconds, one of the guys coded this HTML multiplayer game, and they also ended up with a board game prototype. So this was one of the teams that mentors really helped them, and I think they really did pull through, and I hope I will see at least like some of them, if not all, in the next game jams to like get more experience and to learn more. So yeah, let's just show their trailer. I really do love their trailer. It's so awesome.
The beginning. I will tell you a story how to get from this to that. Or at least get somewhere in the middle, but we still get it done. This is our awesome team at the beginning of the journey. On the first day, we even opened our computers. We played our game with simple playing cards, and it evolved to a board game, actually a playable one.
Let's go to the rules. We have 3 players on the desk with 2 lines of road. Your mission is to get further than your opponents with action cards. In the first round, we deal 5 cards for each player. So players look at his cards, decides 2 moves, lay downs his cards, and then we go to execution. So first player, who is the last one, is starting execution. So this is the black one, Nitro. He goes forward by 2. Speed up, it's for red player. He goes over. Shoot, he's shooting red one. So let's go to the second circle. So swap, we are swapping. So red player, speed up. He goes over by 2 players. And white one shooting. Shoots down back. So winner of the first round is the red one. So this is the end of the first round. In the total we have 3 rounds.
Well, I like the fact that I won. If I lost, then I wouldn't have liked it. But otherwise, it was great. Yeah.
What I really like about this game idea is that it has a quite simple pattern and creates a lot of action at the same time. And it's easy to explain, and there's a lot of action going on at the same time. So that's what I really like about this concept.
So yeah, as Clemens there summed up, it's like really good action strategy game, and I think they understood the slow culture quite technically in the terms like it's a turn-based game, but yeah, you could have like understood it like very loosely or very abstract. It's totally fine, and for like a first game jam game of this team, I think this is like really good. I hope that I see like some variations and some advancements for this game, because I see that there's a potential there for a really good like a board game or even online multiplayer game maybe. I played it a few times and I really did enjoy this one. it's like simple yet like a bit hard, I guess, to master it. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and so
The
let's
beginning.
see.
I
This
will
is
tell
the
you-
same. Let's see. The next one was. Oh, the next one is the Bimsinge game. This one was very futuristic with Microsoft HoloLens AR game where you have to like bounce the ball into random portals that appear in real world. This was like something out of the next world, and if you play it, it looked like you are like interacting with some kind of a gadget from a James Bond movie. Yeah, let's show their trailer. Yeah, go into the Discord and ask the team. I mean, Maris Putens is also like everywhere. He was the team lead there. He can tell you more about this futuristic technology. And yeah, just I guess join our socials and ask them how they made it. I mean, it's so futuristic in my opinion. Okay, so the next one is also like kind of an international team. I don't remember from which country. The online jammer was the second, like from the left, but everyone else was from Estonia, and yeah, like they made something really interesting. They like interpreted the theme also, I think, really well, and it's about like our current situation. The game is about a single woman living through tough times during like this current COVID pandemic, and I think they were going for a little horror and survival and slash like kind of an exploration type of vibe here. So yeah, let's watch the trailer here. Yeah, this one I also did play and I really enjoyed, and I think this was like these were students that they were making like this coursework. So I think it will be actually finished at some point to like a little more polished, I guess. So I'm looking forward to that, and once it's like available in, I think it is available in itch.io, but I haven't seen the link from Seam and his team. So yeah, when I get the link, I will share it definitely. So this is a game like to look out for. They did really understand like the theme also really well in my point. And this is another team that this is like a really cool one. We have like Raimond's a veteran like virtual reality game developer here. We have the first time like actually like Pauline. Like this was the first time she was ever involved in game development. She was like a writer, and she did learn like a lot of new things. She did learn how to use Twine, for example, how to think, like how to write basically story and dialogue for the game, and like they like made this really awesome trailer. Also, Margarita in the middle, like this, she's like really a go-getter from like a student from Economics and Culture University here in Latvia, and like she is basically really I don't know I don't know anyone else that's really so focused on something, and she's like she also like while jamming she also went to these business to business meetings to look for an internship. So a really like I guess a really active team here, and the game they ended up with was something really amazing. So like I will show you the trailer, and I mean they did a 2D 2.5D virtual reality game, and it's really cool. So yeah, let's see it.
It's a slow day. Rain patters against the window. The television babbles away. Granny is awaiting her granddaughter's visit for a weekly game of rummy, when the lightning hits her apartment building and thunder rolls through the city. There's a blackout, the electricity is down, and the sliding doors downstairs neither open nor close. Help Granny repair the malfunction. Cooperate with her neighbors and solve riddles to get closer to the cozy afternoon with your granddaughter. Connecting the immersive nature of virtual reality and a cartoonesque 2D art style, Rain aims to open new artistic perspectives for point-and-click adventures. Our team combined its forces of logical story writing, coding with attention for details, and the creation of a scenery that is reminiscent of a theater stage. Rain is a slow-paced point-and-click adventure that was made for rainy days.
So yeah, I tried it. I really liked it. I really hope this team also like I hope they at least finish it to the degree that they can release it to other people. So basically, I would like to bother like to not like yes to bother someone and to give me their VR headset to play it. Yes, okay, let's see the next one. Next one was Floating Islands. All of them were also first-time game jammers. All of them were artists, graphical designers. They had maybe touched the game engine to some degree. But at the end of the game jam, I think Clemens, one of the mentors, really helped them. They also ended up with like a board game prototype. The members who were on site went to participate in this workshop for board games, so they gained a lot of knowledge from that. And like at the end of the game jam, they ended up with like it was a playable experience in Unity. So that's good. So basically, they have something to start off and develop their game further. So yeah, this trailer though doesn't have any sound. So I mean, if this team was here, they could like just tell about their game themselves, but I will just try to, as much as I can, basically describe it. So the game is a multiplayer game. It's a turn-based game. It has like all these hexagons, and basically there are two sides of the same layout here, and you can, like, other player can put traps and stuff in other players' field side, and vice versa. So it's a really interesting strategy game. And also, like, there's some boosters you can hide in your enemy field. You can you can have like you do have 2 units, and the goal is really basic. Get from your base to enemy base, and basically destroy the enemy base. But you also need to defend your own base with your 3 units. If your 3 units are destroyed, so then you lose the game, and you have like all these power-ups and stuff. And they have, from what I understood, they want to make this with all the crypto craze and stuff. They want to make this play to earn type of a game, and this is like their Unity prototype. I really think they ended up with some kind of a base to go forward. So I think they really need a programmer, maybe someone who understands crypto, and they are looking for help, I think. If you went into the Game Jam Discord, you can find them there. If not, I can direct to them their Discord contacts and stuff like that. You can just ask me. But yeah, I think they had actually plans to develop this game further. But as for Game Jam games, you never know. Sometimes people do develop them further. Sometimes they just leave it as a great experience that they had during the Game Jam. So yes, that would be for the presentation. I will move on to photos, and I'm I'm inviting everybody to just in Zoom chat or in YouTube, just ask some questions while I look at the photos, because this was a very long recap. So please feel free to just talk, and while we see the photos and ask questions and discuss. So these were the mentors, Clemens and Jānis. They went to each team and gave their expertise. So even the first timers, I think, walked away with a lot of knowledge. Yeah, this was what we wanted. There were registered, I think, almost 50 people, 48 or something. So 50% didn't actually show up, but that's actually good because the room was the perfect size for this amount of people to participate. As you see, it was this busy, the whole almost 48 hours. We had some room for AR game developers to experiment on, and also for VR to come and play. So it was very roomy. A bit cold at night, but in the end I think it wasn't that bad. Maybe that's maybe some jammer can actually comment on that. I mean, it was a really, really good place, I think, for a game jam. It was a bit weird to see hotel guests walking during in the corridors at night, and it was really interesting, people eating pizza and stuff, and just seeing spa, people coming from spa in the bathrobes, in the hallways. But it was really funny and really, really what the words I get is what I'm looking for is it added this cherry on top. It was a unique experience here. So yeah, as you can see, like we fed them really well. The pizza was great. If you're in Jurmala, they didn't sponsor us and everything. The Goethe Institute bought the pizza, but Red Bus Pizza, it was like super, like great. And from I think most people could only eat like 3 slices of pizza and were full of energy to develop the games further. We had snacks, coffee, tea, like soft drinks, even energy drinks, and this busyness here, it was like this busy the whole time. So the jammers didn't like slack off or anything. They were like really focused on creating their games, and the atmosphere also was super cool. Here we have actually Mednieks in Simonis team. He was our DJ. He's also radio person, radio DJ in real life. So that was really cool to have him there to like put on music while I couldn't. So thank you. Yeah. And here's, as I said, we had room for like developers to actually try out VR, and yeah. So the venue, like the room, was I think perfect for the 28 participants actually participating. Yeah. Perks of the industry piece. Yep, I agree. So yeah, as you see, like super awesome. Yeah, we will see like next year where's the venue. We might do like some game jams like beforehand. I don't know. We'll see. And actually, while I'm talking about the game jams, the next one will be like in January. I think it's a global game jam, so make a room for that. It should be after like the emergency situation has ended, but we will see. I'm not the organizer this year, by the way. I am involved, but the organizer for Riga Game Jam site will be Madara Aboliņa. So she's actually looking for teammates. So those of you who know her in Latvian Game Developers Association, please do contact her. And we are also thinking of doing some global game jam sites like in other regions that maybe can't make it. But like I guess Ventspils, Liepāja and Rezekne would be the regions in Latvia that usually want to come on-site game jam but can't for some reason drive to Riga. So we will see how that goes, and I hope we can do an on-site jam again in January. But currently it seems for these 3 months this won't be happening. So I'm actually really happy, really glad that we had to do this. The energy was there, like the on-site game jam it's a different beast than something you can join on itch.io like randomly, you know. So yeah, I'm really glad that this happened, and I really hope that all the situation is better next year and we can do this again on site. So yeah, actually that's kind of it for me. I mean, Elvis, if you can read some chat messages, maybe like you can just ask some questions. I will just show some videos in the background then.
Yeah, I don't see any questions, but I have questions myself. So how do you rate the average game? So the level of the games, is it higher than usual or the same, or what's your opinion?
I would say the same, because as you saw, like there were some games that there were like first-time game developers, and there were like some game developers that are participating in the game jams all the time. So from those people who are participating all the time in the game jams, I did feel the quality. And as you saw, like there was a VR game made by Raimonds, a veteran game developer. Something he did while actually he also, like in parallel, went to give a talk during the Game Waves festival, and he wasn't present on Sunday because of his daughter's birthday. So I mean, as a professional, he did that in a very, very short time with two people that one of them is a game dev student, other is like the first time like doing anything in games. So the other team was Siemens game, like this one actually on the screen. I think like Siemens was the like Siemens was the I guess the only game jam veteran there. The other ones either this was the first time or the second time participating. So all in all, given that, I also think that game was also very good. But for the first timers, I think they also did great because of the mentors. They really utilized them, and I think they learned a lot. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it was a little bit better than like other jams, just because of the mentors, and the results. But the games themselves, I think they are game jam games basically.
So do you think mentors help in game jams?
In this particular one, yes, they did. Like they did a lot. Usually they are not utilized at all. Usually mentors just sit and don't know like what to do. But in this one, because like we had this weird situation where like I guess 80% of people participating was they were either artists or 3D students. There was one sound guy. So like two teams didn't have any game development programming experience at all, right? So mentors really in this case they were like essential. But in other game jams we have quite the opposite situation. In other game jams we have a lot of programmers, a lot of game developers, but no sound guys or no like artists. And the mentors we get usually are game developers and more of like programmer kind. So like in other game jams they don't get utilized as much, but in this one it was essential. Yeah.
And which of the games was your favorite?
My favorite were two games. My favorite was this Siemens game, and other favorite was the Rain game. Those two like I think really understood the theme, slow culture, and took it like in the game realm. And the games were different that I am usually like experienced and seeing. And other games I also really like very much. It's not that I don't like them. Like these two are just my personal favorite, just because I enjoyed really like playing them. Other ones were good also, but if I have to choose the favorites, those two are my favorites. Yeah.
Do you think anyone from them will be maybe finished, released somewhere? What do you think?
I really do hope. So about game jam games, they like 90% or more like don't get finished because like
I would say probably 99.
yeah. There's a big number that don't get finished. But out of the ones that do get finished, they do receive like a really good, I guess, not feedback, but for example, don't speak or the bomb explodes. That was a really good game where one of the people like tells the instructions how to disarm the bomb, and other person tries to actually disarm it. And that one came from Global Game Jam, and it's one of the most interesting different kind of game that's really popular. Unfortunately, well, maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. I did forget the right name for it. So yeah, I really do hope. I want to see the Rain game finished. Siemens said about his own like project that he isn't looking to finish it. This was actually just an experience for him, like to just do a project that he wanted to do for a long time. The other one, the one that's right now on the screen, it's a student project from Estonia, and they are looking to actually like to finish it to the degree that it's okay for a student project. So we will see more of this one. And the Floating Islands also, I think they have big plans of it, but I don't know if they will change the idea, use this experience as a learning experience, or they will actually grind the game more. So I don't know about that. So I'm
So
yeah.
what could we do to maybe push them to actually release these games commercially?
That's a hard
Maybe there.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are moving into discussion slowly, but
Yeah, sure. We can
maybe
discuss right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, we can continue with discussing game jams and stuff related to game development. So I had this thought, maybe there should be something after the game jam, like maybe the mentors should actually start working after the game jam. Maybe that's an idea.
We can like assign some teams, I guess the better games that are interested in furthering their development, the mentors. And one of the Latvian Game Developers Association goals is actually, now as you know, to help the games. And we actually wanted to pay for mentors if like people were interested. So I guess we did. Like there was one game development studio that actually used this year, but other than that I haven't heard of it. So that could be a thing. As for the showcase event, I wanted really like this meetup to be a kind of a showcase event after the game jam, but it turned out like we can't really do much on site right now, so the plan kind of failed. But I'm definitely agree to that. There should be a showcase event after the game jam, and also I think that there should be agreement before the game jam, like, hey, come here with a project and we will help you finish it. Like, this knowledge should be like given to the jammers beforehand. For this particular one, there wasn't no pressure to actually finish the games. So this was, I guess, more of a learning experience, and like this was very similar to our global game jam. Also, I guess what could motivate people to finish games is not a game jam, but maybe a hackathon actually. Because game jam is more, okay, I come here, gain experience. If I create something fun, I might finish it. A hackathon is like, hey, this is a competition. We will give you prizes to actually finish the game, and you will have to come up with some kind of a business plan and maybe see some like the one that happened, I guess, 2 years ago in Ventspils. I think that was really good, but then again, I also don't see any games finished from that one. So yeah, I think it needs to be like a whole process until the game is finished. It can't be just this one event where you come and start a game and expect it to be finished.
So what do others think? Maybe from the participants here, and Jānis, maybe you can switch to the video.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, sorry, I'm doing 3 things at the same time.
Yeah. So what do others think? Do we need commercial output from game jams, or should it stay really informal and we shouldn't expect anything out of it?
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry, Laura, you can
sorry.
go ahead. You can go ahead. I have talked again like too much already.
No, it's fine. So I think game jams in their essence also differ. There are game jams where, yes, you have the idea to make something that maybe in future can become something commercially successful. And in that way, the game jam is structured differently. And then you might have just game jams who are meant to, have fun, learn something, and that's it. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, if we take the source of game jams, which is music jams, then it's always just for fun. People come together and just play some instruments and sing and do stuff. So if we take that analogy, then it should always be for fun. But I think Latvian Game Developers Association and gaming itself is more about the business, and we should push the business part of the game development, because I think it shouldn't stay as a hobby only, because there is big money there, and Latvia needs money. So I think we could push game jams to go more, maybe professional, like not professional. Professional is a bad word, but maybe teach new people to make games during the game jams and maybe push them to finish them.
Yeah, I think that shouldn't be like a one-time event, though. I really think that should be like a workshop type of event, because a lot of people, like 48 hours is just not enough to actually make a game. In those 48 hours, though, you could meet like new teammates that they really click or actually don't, and then you know, like, okay, these kinds of people I can't jam with, so you know. So for networking and team building, like even if a game jam is just for fun, it's like great. You can test out other like people and like how you can work on a game with them and maybe like get a team going. So in business case, like that's a good thing coming out of any type of game jam, in my opinion. But if we want to really push, hey guys, finish this game. I think it doesn't like it. Game jam could be a part of it, but it does need to be like a bigger, longer type of series of events and discussions. And yeah, a lot of mentors. And I don't mean like programming mentors. I also mean like marketing mentors, art mentors, music mentors. Like I think in the beginning of the presentation, I said like game development is such a huge field, you know, and you can't just have like a game developer mentor there.
Yeah, exactly. I think more business and maybe marketing or mentors like that. Maybe game designers. Game design, I think, is really weak in Latvia. Like we have almost no good game designers here. We have lots of good programmers and really awesome artists, but we have only a few game designers. And yeah, I think that's another thing that mentors should do, and we should probably search for them.
Yeah, we
also good musicians.
Yeah, definitely. We actually do have a lot of nice sound guys already joined in the Discord that I noticed.
I was saying that we have good artists, musicians, programmers, but no good game designers.
Yeah, actually, there are some good comments in YouTube. Like I will actually just read the Raimond's one. I will try to translate it in English. He thinks that for industry development, it would be really nice to have a contest. I guess the contest would be something similar to BRSD that we are hosting, and we do actually see some games coming out of BRSD, like the Crown of Pain, actually. And I think Simonis is continuing on his game, the Centurion Rex. So yeah, contests are actually a good thing to just focus on maybe more if we want to like do these kinds of industry development thing. I do agree with that with Raimond.
And Maris says that game jams are more about messing around with mechanics. I agree, actually. If you don't if you are working on something, maybe some games, or maybe your main job, and you have time to play around with some ideas you have, then that's also game jams are a good place to go and actually try something you wouldn't be able to try without them, because we have personal life and stuff like that, and if you have this excuse that you have a game jam for a weekend, then usually the family and friends are fine with that. But if you are saying like, I want to sit by the computer at my home for the whole weekend, probably it will not work. So yeah, that's another use for game jams, to get away from your everyday life and try things that you wouldn't try otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. I also remembered it was the first time I organized a global game jam site. One of our actually sponsors, I guess, Estoti. There was like a lot of people from Estoti, like one team, and they do like these professional, hyper casual games like all day, But when they come to a game jam, they just can try out like whatever, and that was like really cool, like seeing just like professional game developers that they are like their job coming to a game jam to just have fun and create some crazy things, like trying out some new Unity like thing that you can spawn millions of objects and stuff like that. Not millions, thousands. I mean, I'm over exaggerating here. So definitely, it's an outlet for that.
By the way, this leads to another question that I'm still haven't had an answer, and probably there is no single answer, but just opinions. What do you think about like playing with new ideas? Making a game just to play with new idea is a lot of work. It's easier to make a mod for a game. So what do you think? Is mod game development? Is it acceptable in game jams? Uh, is it something that we should also include in our games industry?
I think definitely modding is game development. For example, making a new map in Counter-Strike, it's kind of a mod, I guess. Making a new story in Heroes of Might and Magic, and this is an example I'm getting from one of the global game jam sites are organized. It's also like you are learning how to write a good, consistent story. You're learning how to design this level into like a Heroes of Might and Magic game, and also like modding is a thing where you try to find ways to program and implement in an existing work, which is actually, I think sometimes it's even harder to like start from scratch. And that said, though, I haven't done any modding myself, just because I don't know. Actually, I really should, because it seems fun. But I do think modding is definitely one of the game development forms, and a lot of modders do turn out to be game developers.
Yep. And actually, I just came up with a good analogy with the same industry, the music industry, that I talked about in the jams discussion, is that like people who make remixes for music, they are also musicians, I think, and I think they are called musicians, and probably nobody would argue that they are not musicians. So if you make a remix for a game, I would say that he's also a game developer.
Yes, definitely. One of the craziest mods I have actually seen is for Skyrim. They basically made a completely different game using Skyrim. I don't remember the name of it, but I saw it in Steam. I did download it, but haven't played it. It's like just completely different game from a game.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Nils.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It is game development. I don't think I was game developer back in kid days when I was modding NASCAR game on Windows 95 or something. But in nowadays, I see strategy game Emergency series are modded, which is German based, but there are mods for US maps and custom missions. And not to mention, of course, the major modding community in GTA 5, GTA 4, and San Andreas. Those are very well paid developers that are focusing full time on just doing mods, taking money from Google ads on their forums and whatnot. So that's all possible.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Definitely. You can not only mess around with modding, but actually make huge money from that. Yeah. So, what do you think, Jānis, about modding in our game jams? Do you think we should embrace that?
I definitely think we should embrace that. As I said, there was one mod in my first game jam site. Yeah, and
there was.
I loved seeing that. and would love like people just building on a game, maybe changing some mechanics of a game and doing like, I guess modding is kind of a hacking games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see that. And
If I remember correctly, so it was a global game jam, and there were, do I remember correctly? There were some discussions for the rules, if rules allow modding or not. There was something. What was it?
yeah, the rules was basically the content you can create. It was about like licensing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was like uh, if you're talking about global game jam specifically, global game jam allows games for Creative Commons zero license. That means the code and everything should be accessible, but that doesn't mean that the game that you're modding, that code should be like open sourced. Only the solution, the files that you are created, and instructions how to actually get the mod to run on the game, those should be like open sourced if you're talking about global game jam specifically.
So this is now fixed, right? But that year it wasn't.
Well, no, that year
Was it already okay that year?
I think it should have been, because when I asked like the global organizers, that this is the answer I got. Only
okay.
like you can't share, like for example
The game itself.
Yeah, you can't put the game under like Creative Commons zero license, and this also like includes any like paid assets from Unity and stuff like that.
So, if I understand correctly, making a game for Roblox would qualify in global game jam, right?
I think so. It should, like, as long as you can share just the mod and just the instructions how to actually launch it, it should qualify. Yeah.
Can I get in about that?
Yeah, sure.
For two, I can agree with that. If you're making games like in the Roblox, you can't. That can be counted as game jam. Like I just like make some parkour games for in the Roblox to showcase like.
So have you? So you have made games for Roblox, right?
Yeah, but that's I just started without commands, more like visual aid. So.
So what have you created for Roblox? Have you created games or?
I just tried like.
Oh, okay. You try, yeah. Me too.
No. I can say, for myself, the one game that I tried is like somehow success. Like I just some players like it that.
So you published it on the Roblox platform?
Yeah.
And so how does it work? How many? Does it count installs or what does it count?
And basically, if I just go through more points, like basically, when you're playing Roblox, you need just get a Roblox and you just go in the game
and then you have to.
Game,
so if I remember correctly, there was something like install in the Roblox platform.
Yeah, you just basically install Roblox and that's all what you're doing. Then you go through Roblox app, or you go through internet and choose what game you want. Like for me, sometimes favorite game is it's a build about.
So let me open Roblox, because if I remember correctly, you had to choose a game, then you have to something like install it.
No, yeah, install, and then when you install it later, it will not asking you install, but just play.
Yeah.
Play and that's all.
So what is considered a success on Roblox? How many installs?
That's looking how you look like. For me, it's like it's better. So some players just check my game. That's for me it was success. So some players just somehow like it.
Oh, okay. So if people play your game, then that's a success, right?
No, for you saying yes.
Yeah, I would agree.
For you, like you feel like you're not like useless. Like you feel like you made some game was some other was or just start to test it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for global game jam context, if you're talking about if you can share that Roblox your creation as a Creative Commons zero thing, then it's okay. If you can't, and like you have to like actually look at the platform code of conduct and platform specific licensing rules for that. Yeah, that would be like my extended answer. Yeah, but definitely, but we can do like other jams, like with rules, like whatever you want. Like for example, in this Gameway Festivals game jam, we didn't ask people to submit their games actually anywhere, so they could just do any kind of license they wanted to, and that's a good way too. Like while while most of the games can't actually be played right now, we can see the trailers and the people are free to, like at the later date, even just publish it for free or like publish under it some commercial license if they want to, you know. But in the other sense, I do like that in Global Game Jam you have to publish the code and everything under Creative Commons Zero, because it furthers this goal about cooperation and knowledge sharing. And I do really love like open source software like that does this. If there's a game that's also open source, the most likely I will buy it in Steam anyway. But that's just my opinion. And most people won't actually just go and build the game. So I do encourage like open sourcing your game and under some free license because it does really contribute to like to this cooperation between game developers, and also like you can feel good that maybe someone looked at your code, maybe he fixed some bugs, or you just maybe helped someone with your code. Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree that probably people will still buy it, even if it's open source. But you should be careful with license, because if the license is not restrictive, then anyone can just take your game and release it on Steam, and then you have a problem when more than one game of if they even improve the game, then actually you have a competitor which is better than you. And I think that's the main reason why people don't open source their games, not because the players could see the code or build it for free, but because the competitors can just take it, improve it, and launch on maybe even different platforms.
Yeah.
So I think
I do agree with that. That's why I really like game jams, in a sense that nobody really wants to take a game jam game and like steal it. So you can just, if you understand the code, you can look at it, maybe copy the mechanic and implement it in your game, change it around. Of course, give some recognition to the original creator. Like that's why Creative Commons license is actually there's a variant that you have to give like this attribution to the creator original. Yeah. So
yeah, if somebody made something in 48 hours, then probably you can just copy it without taking the code. So yeah, that's definitely. And ideas, you can steal ideas from any Steam game or anywhere. So protecting ideas with closed source is not a viable option.
yeah, definitely. And well, and we can see like those copycats and stuff like that. Not usually, I would say like there are like some like times when the copycat actually does better, but I think most of the time the original would be better anyway. Well, that's opinion, I guess.
Well, that depends what is better. Like if I have a game and I launch it on Steam, and then some dude copies the code and ports it to iPhone, he can actually, and we have one of these examples here in Latvia that it actually does really good on a different platform. So yeah, that is an option. So
yeah,
if you
it's a
if you-
minefield. Yeah.
yeah, if you didn't open source the code, you could actually launch it yourself on an iPhone or Android. So yeah, it could go do. It probably will not do better on the same platform as you launched. It like 99% it will not do better, but launching on a different platform before you, because you are busy with the platform you originally launched, and you don't have time to launch to a new one, and then somebody takes your code and launches, that creates a problem for you, because you are the second one on that platform, and the first one takes all. The first one is the winner.
Yeah, maybe back to the modding discussion. Andre actually left a good comment that creating game from zero in a few days is very hard, but modding it sounds like a much lower entry threshold. And actually, I do agree with that, and I want to a bit extend on that statement. We could get like new game developers that don't know much about game developing with modding, in my opinion, like interested in actually doing game development. That could be like a really good benefit of doing a modding game jam.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Like people come to game jams, and we always invite people without any previous experience to game jams, and then when they come, somebody gives some fancy tool or maybe even more popular like Unity or something, and they don't know what to do with it. So that's another thing, like doing some maybe training before the game jam or something like that. We have done that, right? Before game jams, we had this a few times.
I think so.
Can I express my opinion?
Yes, of course.
Can I speak in Latvian or?
I think it should be fine to switch to Latvian language.
Yeah, so mēs varam pārējais latviešu.
Yeah, but what we will do actually, I will end the YouTube stream if there are no objections.
Yeah, I actually
stay in the chat.
I actually wanted to say a few words before we end the stream.
Yeah.
So we had this talk at the beginning of the discussion. How do you help games to become commercial, and what can you do? What kind of events would help? And there of course are game jams, but as we talked about, game jams are more for fun, for education most of the time. There are contests, as Raimond mentioned. Those are more efficient. If you want to go hardcore, there are accelerators and there are incubators, and those are for business and those are for commercial games. And actually, right now, we have a new batch open at Baltic Explorers. So this is an accelerator for games made in Latvia, Estonia, Sweden, and Finland. And the main goal is to bring these games to new markets, mainly to Asia and US. So we actually have a new batch open. If anyone from Latvia wants to apply, they can just contact me. I will actually drop in the link to the main homepage. So that is just something I wanted to say.
Yeah, you can paste the link in Zoom message, and I will paste it
Zoom.
further in YouTube, because YouTube for some reason deletes the links.
Yeah. Okay. Here it is. So that's just something I wanted to say. Those who are already in the accelerator can apply for the second batch, because we are constantly improving it. We're also gathering new ideas how to make it better. And those who are for the first time, also very welcome.
Okay, thank you. So Elvis, do the outro for the stream. Everyone else in the chat, please stay in the Zoom call. We will continue the conversation in Latvian without the live streaming. Thank you.
Yeah, so I was happy to see you all here in the video call, and thanks for everybody who joined the stream. And now we are finishing. Go home and make games. See you in the Meetup 102.